Yes, welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing, and I have something so new, so hot in my hands that the manual had to be emailed to me because the product had already shipped. Give you a hint, it's from Anvil, aka Blickman. And yes, we're gonna unbox it right here, right now, and I'll consider when I'll put it to use. But I'd like to put it to use right now. But it's getting a little late in the evening, and I don't know if that would be so wise. Nice little card. I'll set that aside. What is it? It is a Anvil Steam Condenser. Yes, I know there's several others out there, but this is from Anvil. It will work on an Anvil, and supposedly it'll work on some other systems. Don't quote me on that. Your mileage may vary. We'll wait for Anvil to actually announce what other systems it's compatible with. But I have the entire manual right here. I have the entire system right here, and it comes in 3 sections. How do I know that? Because I read the manual. Yes, I am guilty as charged. I don't think I read every single manual in its entirety, but I did read that one. So there we go. We've got all kinds of goodies. I will go through these goodies. I will get things assembled. But first, I will let you know what you get. You get a tri-clamp lid adapter. Yep, tri-clamp lid adapter. We know where that goes. You get a condenser lid tube kit, which would be this right here. Nice tri-clamps, seals everything, beautiful. And a steam condenser. I just hold up the box. There's a lot of parts in there. So, I'm gonna tell you right now, after I read the manual, I would stop. And before you read this manual, skip the first page. You can look at the second page and go, ooh, pretty. Skip. Go to the third page. Read that, read all of it. Then you can start back on the first page. Why? Important safety practices. If you've seen me brew, you know I have a habit of burning myself. Yeah, I gotta figure out where I put my gloves. I need my gloves. But needless to say, this thing is amazing. It's going to be great. It's going to reduce the odors you don't smell from all of the malts boiling and just the moisture I'm concerned with for mold. So I'm constantly airing out my garage and running fans and dehumidifiers. I know a lot of people brew at home, and I know a lot of people like to brew inside either because it's too hot outside, or it's too cold outside, or it's raining. I guess 3 reasons. I only thought of 2, but yeah, raining, lightning, thunderstorms, hurricanes. I wouldn't recommend brewing during that time, but I'd be one of those people if, if I had the time and I still had electricity, I might try. But yes, this steam condenser is going to help you to be able to brew in enclosed areas to reduce the amount of moisture you're going to get into that area, amount of smell. The smell, I know you're going, oh, but it smells so good. Yeah, you get in an enclosed area and you brew 1, 2, 3, 4 batches. Suddenly, every time you walk into that area, it smells like you're brewing. I promise you on that one. One of the things that caught me off guard is do not use the clamps. I know a lot of people are thinking, man, I can put that on, clamp it down, rock on. Do not use the clamps. I have just told you that twice now. Read it. Do not use the clamps. The other thing, which it only took me to read it twice before I caught it, is you can actually boil at a lower power rating. Yeah, you can save a little power. Why? Because although you don't want to be brewing under pressure, you want to help get that steam and condense it and take it off. It technically creates a little bit of back pressure. And that pressure and that entrapment of that heat is going to allow it to boil with a little less power applied. So there are some statements in here, trying to tell you to kind of home it in. I did work with somebody who has, I say recent, very relative, we're talking maybe 3 months back, bought a Brew Easy full system, and that was something they had to dial in as they had a steam condenser and they were trying to dial in the amount of power. And even though they didn't buy it from Anvil Blickman, they did call Blickman, and Blickman was the one who helped them. And explained how it worked and what they needed to do. And another part I read in here, which is something you want to be aware of, is that when you're pushing cool water, if you don't know how a steam condenser works, you got the steam coming up and you have cool water hitting to help pull that steam down into a bucket or into a drain or whatever you have on the side that you want that liquid to go into. It can be pumping out about 9.5 gallons per hour through that little nozzle. So although you're not getting all of this at 9.5 gallons per hour, you're getting over here from the actual water cooling the heated water down. You need to have a pot that can hold a considerable amount of water, and you probably need 2 pots, and you need to swap them as they get close to full. And you don't want the hose to be submerged, because if the hose gets submerged, that creates some back pressure. You don't want pressure. You have enough just putting the lid over the top and letting it sit. Those are just some things I wanted to cover first because they're safety. And I know I'm probably not the best person when it comes to safety with my recent ladder thing, but I don't intend to get hurt. And if you start thinking about things ahead of time, it makes you a little more aware, and awareness is where it really helps. I'm gonna pop this thing off really quick and take a quick look. Yes, I already loosened it. Ta-da! Ah, good. Wow, nice. Okay, there's no seal on this end, but there is a seal on the top, a little rubber seal. So that sits right in there. Has a little bit of play, not much. Kind of nice. I didn't really want a lot of play. And you shouldn't have to get any kind of giant monkey wrench to tighten this. You should be able to just nice and hand tighten it, and that's it. I mean, I'm done. Not really. That's the first part. I mean, it is just that easy to install. It's not something that's going to be difficult to install. It's just a matter of doing each part, looking at the manual. The manual is very, very simple, very straightforward. It is the first edition, so there may or may not be some modifications down the road, but I doubt it. It's pretty straightforward from what I'm looking at. And it shows you all the parts, including what we just put on. It has 3 parts. You have the top piece, which is the buckhead fitting, you have the buckhead nut, and you have the O-ring. So you can double check that you have all your parts. Things do happen, but that was pretty simple. In the lid tube assembly, you have the tube, you have 2 tri-clamps, and you have 2 O-rings. One O-ring goes right up here. This is literally just how easy it is. Okay, I know I said don't put the clamps on. I'm gonna put a clamp on to keep this thing from falling over, just in case it pulls a little weight. You take your tri-clamp, you put the tube on, and just for the purpose of this video, I'm gonna turn it to face you. This way you can see all the additional fixtures that we're gonna put on here. We're done with 2 parts. We're on to the 3rd and final part. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna assemble the steam condenser. And before we put that up there, let's assemble the top. The top part, we have a couple different pieces. One, we have the condenser nozzle cap. In here, we actually have the sprayer, which is a 9.5 gallons per hour spray nozzle. And it's all brass, very nice. Screws in nice and snug. You don't have to go crazy. There we go. Nothing special. You have this little flow control here for allowing the liquid to come in. And this is the cool liquid. It's plastic, or a type of plastic, I'll say. And remember, you still need to clean things. I wouldn't worry too much about the stuff coming straight down, but over here, yeah, you want to keep it clean. You want to keep it all clean technically, but I'm just saying when you first go to assemble it, this is your garden hose. Make sure it has a washer in there. You need to hook that to your garden hose so it seals properly so it doesn't start spraying. Been there, done that too many times in my life. You have your hose. I'm not going to go nuts right now because I don't know how short I may want to cut it, but they give you a reasonable amount of hose. I mean, yeah, that's pretty reasonable to me, if not even longer than I would need. And we'll go ahead. It's just like the Duotites. If you're familiar with Duotites, same system. It's been around for a very, very, very long time. There we go. We're done with that part. Okay, gonna take our gasket, set the gasket on there, take our tri-clamp. Probably should have pre-opened it before I started talking, but that's okay. Not a big deal. And this is literally just gonna sit right inside there. Your tri-clamp is gonna go around the edge, come around, and it doesn't matter, I don't believe, so much as to where you decide to clamp it. I would say to clamp it away from this part so that you have more room. You can kind of turn it a little like that. That part's done. Another O-ring. And another tri-clamp. So you take your O-ring, kind of put your fingers on the side to hold it in place, drop your tri-clamp over it, and that's it. That way you don't have to sit and hold it. You got it like that. You can loosen this, tighten it, whatever you need to do. Once you have it where you need it, which I just got it, then I can tighten it. Turn that again. I'm gonna turn that so you can see it. There we go. I do like that ability to kind of pivot the whole thing a little. Okay. I do have the clamp still on over there. Not something you want to do during brewing. And we'll loosen it, and yeah, I've got plenty of weight. It's not gonna lean over or fall off. I was just concerned when I was tugging and pulling on it that it might. Kind of a cool little bonus. They give you this clamp so you can clamp it onto the side of whatever you're running the hose in. Remember, you don't want this hose submerged. So you're probably literally gonna do something like that, just so it's right in the very top of your pot, kettle, or whatever you're running it to. I would use something that's, supposedly it comes out cool enough it can go into most plastic containers, but I would use a pot, that's just me. That way I don't have to worry about a heat problem. Now with this, you also have one of those lovely clamps you see on Anvil and Blickman devices. You put that on, you push this through. It's kind of loose fitting, so you definitely want to clamp it down nice and snug. We're done. That's it. We're ready to brew, rock and roll. Yeah, it's that easy. Did I expect it to be that easy? I did expect it to be easy, but not that easy. It's, I'm not gonna say stupid simple, because the problem is you can still burn yourself no matter how simple that was to assemble. I would say if you've got it assembled like this and you need to move it, I would remove this, remove that, carry it where you need to be, set it back down. Another thing, let's say you've got the boil going and you've got your first hop addition, okay? Stand opposite of where you open it. Let the steam come out. Let it release. Once the steam's cooled down a little bit, you can throw your addition in, or you could remove this, let it drip. While you do what you need to do, you're going to have something over here like a big rubber glove, silicone glove, something so when you grab this, you're not burning yourself. You understand? This is going to be very, very, very hot. Close it back up. Repeat, rinse, whatever you need to do. But like I said, every time you go to grab this, you should have some sort of heat protection, whether it's gloves, silicone, whatever you need to protect yourself so you don't burn yourself, because this is gonna be very hot. I would not hold this very long either. Do whatever additions you have, go back to closing it again. I know everybody's asking, wait a minute, if I got a steam condenser, how do I do my hop additions? Okay, you got a couple options. One, that's not gonna work. Not safely, because it's gonna push that up a little bit, and if you do it over here, you're gonna get a lot of steam being released out over here. What I would recommend, you can either toss your hops straight in, I don't usually do that, or you can use a hop bag. And a hop bag will sit right in there. You can do like I do, I hook them on these hooks all the time, but that little string isn't enough to cause a problem. Do note that without the clamps, if somebody were to hit this, there is a possibility that they could knock it over, but under normal, safe usage, you should be fine. It's just something to be aware of. Yes, I have a hole over here where the recirculation goes, so that does have a little bit of a steam release coming out of that little hole, but I would expect the majority of the steam is gonna go straight up. I just noticed something, and I kind of like it. Your mileage may vary, be careful, but when I set it over here, it kind of hits against that, and it kind of keeps it from being able to be knocked over as easy. I kind of like hitting the handle. Keep in mind the handle will get hot too, but I kind of like that. I don't know, but proceed with caution. Thank you again for joining us here at Bitter Reality Brewing to check out the new steam condenser from Anvil. Go check out their website. I don't know if it's available in all the retail locations online or if it's your local home brew shop yet, but it is being announced as of today, Thursday, March 9th. And yeah, very, very cool, very excited. I will be putting this to use. We'll have plenty of videos with the steam condenser in use very soon. Thank you. Cheers. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. Definitely appreciate the support. Thank you.